What do you do when you expect fruit flavors in your cup, but bitterness shows up first? These are the Rwanda Busanze Washed Bourbons from Utility Coffee Roasters. I picked these up for its blueberry and pineapple profile, but in my first few cups, bitterness was the only flavor that was really apparent. The approach here is to reduce how dominant the bitterness feels so the fruit flavors have space to come through. With these Rwandan beans, dry root-like bitterness can show up early and set the tone of the cup. That isn't a flaw. It's just the flavors are being presented in the wrong order. The gear I'm using today is the V60 Neo, Cafe Abaca Papers, and the ZP6. I'm leaning into a slightly longer ratio because I'm aiming for a more relaxed cup. The grinds are a little coarser, mostly to avoid pushing extraction a little too hard at the start. No need to force agitation. The focus here is order, letting fruit and sweetness speak first before bitterness joins the conversation. This way, the cup stays smoother and the fruit shows up first, with the bitterness feeling more supportive instead of dominant. Comment utility and I'll send you the full brewing recipe. Welcome back to another cup. It's been a while. I've been a little busy this past week helping out at a cafe, learning a lot. It's a very new experience for me. At the same time, it's a lot of fun, and shout out to Trimmer Coffee for allowing me to work part-time at your cafe. Today's beans, we have Utility Coffee Roasters, Rwanda Busanze Washed Bourbons. The flavor notes are blueberry, pineapple, floral, and honey-like sweetness. I bought these beans a few weeks ago, and as they were resting, I've been thinking about Rwandan beans and these beans in general, because the cup that I had at Utility Coffee Roasters was just super delicious. It was really, really filling. I made a cup with the V60 Neo, and it was really bitter. So I kind of chalked it up as being like, okay, they're just not fully rested. Fast forward to a couple of weeks after that, I tried it again and the bitterness was still there. That's when I started testing a lot of different recipes and found out the order of how I was preparing everything. So I realized that the switch base was affecting a lot of the flavors that I wasn't finding. This is my first time brewing Rwandan beans, and this is something that I'm kind of learning about Rwandan beans, that you don't want to have a long immersion. You want a quick flash draw situation, and that requires a lot of dumping of water, a quick hot brew, and then just good extraction and flow rate, which is perfect for the Neo, but the immersion basically stops all that. And so I took off the switch base, I gathered all my research, and I went back to Martin and I asked him some questions like, what's your brew time? Do you get these kind of flavor notes? We basically had a long conversation about just like how to tackle these beans. And he basically told me that brewing hotter was the key. And so I came back, did a bit more research, and I got to this cup, which is absolutely fantastic. You're getting the full-on sweetness, just a lot of the sweet notes that I originally bought this for and I had at Utility Coffee Roasters is just fantastic. You get the nice blueberry and pineapple sweet tardiness that I'm such a big fan of. Really, really underlying floral notes, and then just a minimized bitterness and a long lingering sweetness taste. Today, I'm using the V60 Neo with Cafe Abaca Papers. We're not using the switch base because of what I found out. For the grinder, we're using the ZP6 set at 5.4. The base recipe that I'm using is 14 grams at a 1:16 ratio. The ZP6 is set at 5.4, and the water temp is at 94. The brewing recipe that I'm doing is a fairly different style of what I'm used to, but it's pretty simple. We're blooming for 45 grams, and then at 25 seconds, we're pouring to 160, and then at 1 minute, we're pouring to 224 for a total drawdown time of 2 minutes. It's pretty quick. The Abaca Papers and the Neo allow for that, but because we're grinding a little coarse, that's to be expected. For my brewing recipe, we're blooming with 45 grams with a gentle center pour, and then at 25 seconds, we're pouring to 160. At 1 minute, we're pouring to 224, and the total drawdown time is around 2 minutes. In this cup, I'm getting a really, really nice flavor. I'm finally getting the fruitiness, the blueberry and the pineapple tart and sweetness that just come through like handshaking hand in hand down the road. And then the floral is kind of like an undertone, but the sweetness is just a nice, lingering, long-tasting sweetness. It's a really nice flavor. The bitterness is there, but that's kind of like the floor that everything is like coming on. It's like a very, very underlying structure. Okay. So the flavor notes that I'm getting is that the blueberry and the pineapple are showing up hand in hand with a floral overtone, and the bitterness, the subtle bitterness is kind of like the floor and the structure. So it's a really, really nice, well-structured drink that you could taste all the flavors cleanly. After I realized I didn't need the immersion phase, this really unlocked the flavor of these Rwandan beans. And I'm really glad that, I got to this point, because Now these beans are super fantastic. It tastes so good, it's so delicious, and it's something that, I'm looking forward to finishing out this whole entire bag. Other than that, if you comment utility, I'll send you the recipe, or just let me know if you've ever had Rwandan beans before and if you've had any of these properties. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Peace.